What's up, party rockers? It's your boy Shovatar here, coming at you with another spicy-ass Castlevania commentary. And today, we're looking at Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, which is my favorite Castlevania game that I've played thus far. I haven't played all of them yet, so that position could be unseated at some point in the future, but for now, this one's my favorite. Something that I should mention. This video says it's a 1cc. And some of you might be thinking, Shovatar, buddy, you got 10 lives there. What kind of 1cc is it with 10 lives? Well, let me give a brief explanation. The codes that allow you to skip to second quest, which is what I wanted, are there's the Akama code, which starts you off just in second quest with just Trevor and 3 lives, but they don't that code doesn't let you acquire any companions. What I wanted was basically the Akama code, but you start off with Syfa or Grant or Alucard. And the only code that does that is the Help Me code. And the Help Me code starts you off on second quest with the companion of your choice, but it also starts you off with 10 lives. So in order to replicate, I mean, 10 lives seemed a little bit um, uh, too generous, basically. So in order to replicate the difficulty of the Akama code, but still have the companions available, I just decided to enter the help me code and give myself the stipulation that if that life counter ever hits 7, then I'm done. This room here is the first appearance of these skulls. I may have said in my Castlevania 1 video that the vampire bats on stage 16 of Castlevania 1 are my least favorite enemy of all time. That was the result of hyperbole and the passions of the moment. These things are the worst enemy of all time because their patterns are literally random, and you can't drill through them the way that you can with the bats on 16. Level 1 of Castlevania 3 is kind of like on hard mode is kind of like level 1 of Castlevania 1 on hard mode, where it's possible to die, but on level 1 of Castlevania 3 hard mode, it's almost like dying is it's hard not to die. Here I'm playing it kind of clumsily, so it's not the best demonstration of its difficulty. Why the fuck did the rosaries flashbang you? God, that's so annoying. I always close my eyes whenever I walk into a rosary because they're so fucking bright. It's like I am one of Dracula's minions. But yeah, level 1 is tricky. They are throwing bats at you, and get used to that. Get used to seeing the bats. This run went pretty smoothly up to a certain point. That's going to be in level 9 when things take a certain turn, but I'll talk about that when we get there. Yeah, level 1 is tricky on hard purely because of the bats, because throwing bats at you while throwing zombies at you. The zombies are on kind of an aggressive spawn cycle also, which you'll see in a second. God, that's so bright. Ah, I hate it. I like wince every time I see that. Uh, yeah, see, the zombie jumps out right in front of you, and I thought I could jump over it, but I couldn't, and this is so bad. Yeah, you got to deal with those bats pretty much as soon as they come into your field of vision. You can't wait for them to come to you. And here the guy moved to the left, which is good. If he'd moved to the right, I probably would have died. And because this is a 1cc and not a 1LC, if I had died here, I probably would have just kept going because I didn't really think I wouldn't have thought that losing a life here would be too impactful. But I didn't die. If I had died, that might have been really bad because, well, like I keep saying, I'll talk about that when I get there. Level 3 on hard is actually kind of easier than level 1 on hard. That's kind of insane to say, but I think it's true. I think I've died more on level 1 hard, except for this part. This part is rough, because this is spikes plus fucking screaming skulls coming at you. This is like fucking level 2 hard mode on Castlevania 1. But it's a little bit more lenient because they stop spawning once you're jumping on top of them like this. And here I'm switching to Syfa so I can pick up the freeze spell specifically just for this guy, because this guy's really tough to get at with just Trevor. With Syfa you can freeze him, and as an added bonus I freeze the skull too, and I get out of this room without taking any damage, and that's really good. If I can get out of there without taking damage, that's like I can't be upset with that because those fucking things, you just never know what they're going to do. And trust me, their patterns are literally random. They can randomly like bob and weave and like stop short in the middle of They're waves. It's really rough. These owls, I remember when I first played Castlevania 3, these owls coming up here, I had no fucking idea what to do with them. I literally did like a Google search for like how do you beat the owls in Castlevania 3. And as you can see, I haven't learned very much. I'm still struggling to hit this guy. That's how you do it. Yeah, that was a little bit more risky than it should have been. Normally I would do that from further back. And here, this part is super important. So this is the first lightning you can get for Sypha. And for any run that involves Sypha, lightning is the most important thing in the entire game because lightning is just your single strongest offensive option. And it seems like it's specifically designed to counteract the usual weaknesses in your arsenal in the game because it shoots up in the air, it's homing, so it'll zoom in on like little fast flying things like ravens or bats sometimes, which you might see when we get to it. But it's so great, and it's why Sypha is good. It's why Sypha is basically considered like the easy character. Um, her other spells are not bad. Like fire is perfectly fine, and fire does like mega damage, so it's good in that. And then freeze has some neat utility, like those red skeletons. You can permakill them with freeze, which is something you can't do with anything else. But generally speaking, lightning is your best bet because you can just do shit like that. I'm completely untouchable. You can do damage from safe locations, and the damage is basically guaranteed. Here I'm being a little bit overcautious dealing with that turret. See, look, okay, this is another thing that's going to happen a lot with Sypha, where the game, I swear to God, the game knows when you have lightning and it conspires to take it away from you. I feel like books that I don't want but drop in front of me on Sypha all the time. But as you can see, that part of level 3 is basically the hard part of level 3, and it's over without a hitch. Although, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this part coming up can be rough, and I don't fully understand uh, how it works. So I switched to Trevor here because at the time that I did this run, I was under the impression that um, using the whip, basically being able to whip these jellyfish instead of waiting to lightning them over and over again lets you move forward at like a swifter pace. And I guess I was under the impression that because there's a jump coming up here in a second. That's bad. Oh, this is actually really bad. What the hell? How do I get out of this? Okay, I guess that's how. They just magically die without leaving behind any residue. So this, yeah, this part here, sometimes there's like a jellyfish coming across the gap there, and I don't know when, like, what makes it do that or not do that. I think it's timing based, and I think that's why I switched to Trevor there to try to get there like fast, like as fast as possible, because I thought that would prevent it. But I ended up going super slow, and then it wasn't there. So I really don't get it. I think maybe it has something to do with like the spawn pattern, like the rate at which they spawn. I really don't know. I've played this game a lot, but there's so many things about this game that still completely mystify me. And here, this is a little bit awkward. Something funny that happened there once was I destroyed that torch. I knew the torch dropped a dagger, or if you're playing Sypha, it drops fire magic. And so I jumped over the torch after I destroyed the skeleton and the torch, but the skeleton had also dropped fire magic, so I got the fire magic anyway. That was ridiculous. We're coming up to the Cyclops fight, which is easy basically no matter what, but it's especially easy on Sypha. Sypha specific I should say life Sypha, but it's really lightning. Lightning trivializes a lot of shit in this game that otherwise gives you a lot of trouble, and you wouldn't necessarily know it if you didn't see how it's utilized. Here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Normally, if I wanted to fight this boss, I'd have to get down on that little block beneath where I'm standing right now and try to like whip him when he walks back towards me, but I don't even have to worry about it. I can just fucking stand there and spam until the end of time, and it's just easy. It's just easy. Cyclops goes down, get the orb. And now we get into the hard part. Level 1 and level 3 are both pretty much non-problems in a hard mode 1cc. Level 4 is a gigantic problem for reasons I will explain as we encounter them. Um, there's a stopwatch coming up here. I don't think I get it, although I probably should. I think that my plan is to hold on to the holy water throughout the entire level, so that way I can use the holy water against the mummy boss at the very end. Because at this point in time, I've been having a lot of trouble with the mummy boss. Oh no, I do get the stopwatch. Okay, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Interesting. I guess I figured, oh, I know why. It's because Syfa with lightning trivializes the mummy boss, and I had this idea of using the stopwatch, I think, to get through this room, or just as like utility at some point in the future. I don't know why exactly I got the stopwatch here. It's a good call. Getting a stopwatch is really, really good at several points in level 4, and then again in level 5. But again, a lot of the things that the stopwatch makes easier, Sypha also trivializes. So I'm surprised that I took the stopwatch there. I don't know if I ever even I don't know if I ever even use it. Huh. Interesting. It's been a while since I recorded this footage, so a lot of this is kind of new to me. But that's kind of when I like to do recordings like this, is when the footage is still fresh, and I can sort of give my genuine first reactions to what you're seeing. Okay, this part is also, see, you notice there that the lightning was orbiting around the destroyed skeletons. That's because see, the thing about lightning is that it's really good, but it has no ability to prioritize. And it will zoom in on, god damn. See, you just get fucking shredded by these bats at this part of the game. And they just have no fucking mercy. Yeah, Sypha is super important for this room here. This room is really hard to clear without Sypha. Just like killing these ghosts in general without lightning is, oh my god, okay. That was almost really bad. So like I was saying earlier, lightning doesn't have priorities. It will aim itself at monsters, it'll aim itself at torches, it'll aim itself at projectiles, and sometimes it'll aim itself at floating platforms, which you might see in a second here. And if it can't hit something, it'll like orbit around it for a long time, and you can't shoot a second lightning spell if there's any lightning projectiles still remaining on the screen. See there, they're kind of like angling towards the platform. That one's like rotating around it. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why it does that. But that's something it does, and that's basically the only thing about lightning that makes it all balanced, is that sometimes the projectiles just spaz out and don't do what you want, but otherwise it's the best offensive option in the game. And it's basically why Sypha is good, like I said at the start. So here I'm expecting to die, because this boss, it's possible to do this boss without taking any damage, but it's very strange. There's a super fast kill you can do with lightning, where if you stand at the right distance, like all three of your lightning bolts hit him, and you just do that twice super fast. I don't do that here, but by some fucking miracle, he. I guess I just reacted correctly. I ducked when I was supposed to. He didn't shoot his like petrification beam at me, which looks like you should be able to duck to dodge it, but really you can't. This is a perfect example of, okay, so the reason I'm waiting there is because I'm afraid that if I try to jump up, I might accidentally like bonk my head into him through the floor, which is not an unreasonable fear. I can't say for sure that that's ever actually happened there, but I would not be surprised if it did ever happen. Same thing here. I can't believe I survived the Medusa fight. Usually I take at least one damage there, or whatever that thing is. A Gorgon, a fucking Naga, a Lamia dude with a bow and arrow. I don't know what you call it. A snake that shoots snakes. So yeah, here's a great example of when lightning is super useful, because killing these guys is a gigantic pain in the ass under normal circumstances, but here they're just completely trivialized. And I have to be careful there, because that headless swordsman that I just killed, sometimes if he's there and you didn't destroy the torches on the path underneath you and you shoot lightning, lightning will go for the torches and ignore him, and he'll just walk forward and stab you. And that's happened to me so many times, and I really couldn't afford to have that happen there that time. But fortunately, the lightning already destroyed all the torches on the first time around. This is another room that's trivialized by lightning, and it's really, really difficult under basically all other circumstances. Ravens, I don't know. I've never really figured them out. I've never really quite gotten how the Ravens work. I think I'm better at it than I used to be. I mean, I better be, given how much time. That's funny. That guy can either swoop down towards you or just fly up off the screen. At that time, he was nice and he flew up off the screen. It was one fewer thing for me to worry about. This guy just dies. This room is also super tricky without lightning. Although fire basically works just as well. Trying to deal with a ghost and a bone thrower at the same time, it's very hectic. But lightning makes it totally trivial. And this is 100% my fault. What's about to happen, because I didn't know this at the time because I hadn't played enough Sypha, but lightning completely trivializes the mummy boss. Like if I had Sypha out, these mummies would already be dead. See, I do it here, but I didn't have to. Okay, see that was bad. If I had just sat right where I was standing with Trevor and just spammed lightning right when they came out of the coffin, they would have been dead 10 seconds ago, and I wouldn't have taken any damage. And now I'm fucking myself again because I'm on Trevor for the Cyclops fight, which, if you remember the Cyclops fight that I just did, that I cheesed with Sypha, then there's no reason for me to do this. And I'm one hit away from death for Sypha or Trevor. So this is just bad decision making right here. Um, and I also think I get greedy at a certain point. And the stopwatch is, see, that was greedy right there. I shouldn't have tried to hit him when he charged towards me. And the Cyclops fight here is weird. Getting him to charge or not charge is more art than science. And here, okay, yeah. If you That's why I'm jumping like that in between standing on these platforms, because for some reason jumping slows him down. And here I got too greedy. I whipped twice when I shouldn't have, and there's the first death of the run. Completely and totally preventable. And now I don't have a stopwatch for whatever the fuck I had in mind for the stopwatch, and I'm not going to have lightning for 5-1 or 5A, and then I get raped by a bird. Ugh. I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. I get damaged for 5 health by a bird. I get assaulted by a bird. I was attacked by a bird. Anyway, now I don't have the stopwatch for anything leading up to 5-3, which again is not like a huge deal. But more importantly, now I don't have lightning for the mummy bosses. Not that I was making great use of lightning. Anyway, that was really close. I almost got knocked off the edge there, and I'm shocked actually that I didn't. Um, yeah, watching this footage now is actually seriously frustrating because of how preventable a lot of the mistakes in this run were. But my goal was 1cc. My goal was don't let life counter fall to 7. That's what I did, and this is just what I'm left with. And I'm just gonna you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. Gonna have to deal with this shitty play, like I will. That's that's actually fine. That's really not greedy. It's maybe it's see. I don't know if I like this strategy I'm employing of trying to. What I'm basically trying to do is do as much damage to him as possible, so I don't have to do his pattern as much. But I think it's not a great idea. I think it's better to just get into the groove of waiting for him to walk slowly towards the platform and then just take your time whipping him and then jump across. I think trying to do like fancy shit like this, like whipping when he's charging, I think it's not worth it. Throwing axes is not worth it. Like jumping, yeah, like I was trying to jump and whip him there, not worth it, I think. I think the problem was I was just wigged out. I was just wigged out from my earlier death, and now I'm worried about like I just want to get through this boss fight as quickly as possible. And does he hit me here? No. Okay, I jumped super fast, but again, that was really close. He really could have hit me there, and it would have been bad. But now I'm safe. And to be completely honest, like getting through level 4 on hard with one death is really not that bad at this in this context because the level is so. I mean, I almost died in 4B. I went through like 4B, 4C, and 4D with like 1 health. So it could have gone worse way earlier, and that's probably those are the areas of the level where I would expect it to go bad. So the fact that it didn't, the fact that I got out with 1 life, considering how badly I played, is really or got out with 1 death, considering how badly I played. It's really not that bad. And here is another serious problem area. Not this room. This room is just tedious, but another serious problem area that's trivialized by Sypha is 5-3, or I guess I should say 5C, which we'll see when we get there. This part, the biggest difference between this room on normal and hard is that the gargoyles on hard are way more aggressive. There's just more of them that they spawn, and I think they spawn based off where you are because or where the screen is. See, I always fuck that up because once you go past a certain point, they like stop spawning. But it's like when you're in a certain range, the game wants there to be a gargoyle on the screen at all times. So it just keeps if you try to just like stand still, yeah, see that guy respawned almost immediately. Then that happens. That's what makes this shit so tricky. You can't take your time with it. You can't like wait, kill, and then go. You have to just like maintain a forward pace. This is another really boring part. There's just no good way to deal with this guy except doing what I'm doing, which is super slow. Maybe if I had holy water, I could do it. I mean, I could have thrown axes at him from below, but I'm unreasonably paranoid about conserving hearts and ignoring the torch down there that has 5 hearts in it. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking here. Maybe my brain was just fried from dying to the Cyclops. That's the excuse I'm gonna give. Yeah, that's my excuse. Here I take damage to pick up the holy water. I'm picking up the holy water for the Frankenstein fight later, which is also not really necessary. And it's probably, I don't know. This level is so all or nothing that it's hard for me to say for sure if like, oh, I took 1 damage there, that's like a big deal. It really is not, because this is very much either, and Sypha is like this a lot because of the power of lightning. It's like either you die and you lose lightning and you go to hell, or you live and you keep lightning and the level pretty much goes exactly how you want it to. And it's kind of like one or the other. Okay, not much to say here. I'm going through this at a pretty brisk pace, pretty much exactly what I want. I guess I could be using Sypha and Lightning to clear these guys out, but again, I'm unreasonably paranoid about conserving my hearts for 5C, which is how Sypha is going to trivialize 5C, is basically by taking a million years to kill all the turrets, which we'll get to. But here I'm using hearts for holy water. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm thinking here. I guess I was trying to get a shot multiplier to drop, but the shot multiplier did drop, and then I wasn't there to get it. So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, and here is the other lightning. The first lightning was available in level 3. Dying in level 4 is acceptable because you can still get the lightning after that point and hold on to it for the 2 things I want lightning for is I want lightning for 5C and I want lightning for the level 6 boss. Um, and if possible, I want lightning for 9-2 because 9-2 is very similar to 5C. But I'll talk about that when we get to 9-2. This room is the perfect example of Castlevania hard mode bat factor. The fact that there's this respawning bat going through the middle of the room makes this room unironically 3 times harder than it is on normal. Like seriously, I'm not kidding. That's why I'm sitting there waiting for it, because I'm so paranoid that it's going to come hit me on the fucking stairs. And here, I'm just going to take forever shooting lightning to take down each and every one of these turrets. If you don't have Sypha, the best way to get through this place is honestly just with the stopwatch. Just freeze time and just run past them. But if you don't have the stopwatch and you don't have Sypha, then you pretty much have to learn the specific positionings on the stairs between the fireballs being shot. And maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe it's not the kind of thing that can make sense unless I show it somehow. But basically, there are sweet spots to stand on the staircases where none of the turrets are going to hit you, and that's pretty much what you have to try to find for if you want to do this room without the stopwatch or without lightning. And here you can see the lightning is actually maybe it's hard to tell, but the lightning is actually trying to home in on the projectiles in a couple of those cases. That just goes to show like lightning doesn't understand what's a threat and what's not a threat. These guys also shoot faster on hard mode. I'm pretty much certain that they do. Yeah, see, look at how wonky these lightnings are. They're trying to hit like the invulnerable fuzzball on the platform. They're trying to hit like the axe. They're trying to hit like everything except for the fucking armor knight that I want them to hit. You know what? I have lightning. I got through 5C with lightning. I really can't complain. And I have to try to get through. See, look at this. This lightning orb. Okay, it destroyed the torch, so that's why it went away. So this guy here, he can throw low or throw high. If he throws high, you're getting hit. You're just fucked. There's nothing you can do about it unless you have a stopwatch. If he throws low, he spares you. There he threw low, and it spared me, but it really doesn't matter because this boss is not difficult under any circumstances, and if I have the holy water, it's especially not difficult. This isn't like a Castlevania 1 Frankenstein situation where the boss is really fucking hard without holy water and trivial with holy water. This boss is just not hard, basically no matter what. It's kind of like the mummies, actually, in Castlevania 3, where it's a test of aggression. The game basically just wants you to whip that guy constantly, and if you take damage, then fuck it. It just wants you to out-damage him, which is why there's meat right before the fight starts, to give you a little break. Level 6 is extremely tricky, and this is basically like, if I get a run past level 6, I'm in good shape pretty much until A1. 6A is not where the problems start. The problems start in 6B, which is coming up in a moment here. So I'm going to ditch the holy water. No, I'm not going to ditch the holy water because I have Sypha. 6B is basically like a rehearsal for the 9-4 fish gauntlet, where you have two elements. You have water that's constantly pushing you back, you have respawning fishmen, and then you have fucking birds. And the lightning is a real godsend here because it's going to take out the birds. Fun fact, Syfa with freeze can actually freeze the water here and let you like run on top of it for a few seconds, but it's really not worth giving up lightning. I also don't want to lose the holy water here because of the way that I do 6C, which is, oh my god, that was so close. Whew, man. That's what this part is. See, you have to be careful when you jump at this part because it's so easy to jump into them. And look at that. They keep fucking dropping sub weapons I don't want. They're so aggressive with that shit. Yeah, and speaking of aggressive, the spawns in that little water area are also super aggressive. So it's like you want to jump once and then not jump again. Because if you jump a second time, the chances of you just landing on one of them and taking 4 fucking damage, going into one of the hardest stages in the entire game is super hard. Speaking of one of the hardest stages in the entire game, that's where we are now. We're in 6C. This part is not hard. This part is boring, and I'm making it more boring by playing super slowly and trying to shot put holy water at this guy from a million miles away when I could just jump down and start fighting him normally. Oh well, what can you do? Hey, I got a shot multiplier for it. That's good. Now it's just say here, what am I doing? Okay, this is interesting. I don't know why. Normally I turn into Sypha and just shoot lightning at it from across the pit, but I think I'm trying to conserve my hearts, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to conserve them for exactly, but I guess that's what I'm doing. Um, this room is also a great demonstrator of why the bats are the fucking worst enemy in the game. I did not do anything wrong there. The last 4 damage I took are literally not my fault. That's my fault. I could have done something to prevent that. But like getting punished for jumping across a gap because you happen to be on like the bat spawn cycle is fucking ridiculous. And getting out of that room alive, I'm not even upset that I got out of that room with 1 health. Getting out of that room alive is like enough of an accomplishment. And it's actually something that I really want because I want lightning for the level 6 boss. And you'll see why when we get there. Um, so for now, I guess I'm just happy that I'm here and I'm using the stopwatch to get through the last of these enemies safely because look at that shit. The bats keep fucking spawning. Look at that. Do you see that? Do you fucking see that? Do you see that bat spawning right in front of the fucking door, coming right at me before I have any time to react? God damn. God, I can't fucking believe that. Okay, this part is also really tricky because it's kind of like stage 29 on Castlevania 1 where the fishmen are on a super aggressive spawning cycle. I don't understand how this works. I'm doing this correctly, which is using the stopwatch. Just get the fuck past them because it's not worth fucking with them, and I really don't need that many hearts to kill the level 6 boss. That's a little bit much. I really did need to stopwatch at the end there, but I had the right idea. I executed that correctly. And here, it's just switch to Sypha, don't worry at all about the patterns, and just shoot lightning. There's no other torches on the screen, and for some reason the lightning doesn't like homing in on these platforms, it only likes homing in on like moving platforms. So look at that, 2 shot. The thing's just fucking dead. Like lightning completely trivializes this boss that otherwise I have a lot of trouble with. This is probably the hardest boss on the Sypha route for me at this point. Um, yeah, in terms of its actual behavior. Most of the other bosses, like the doppelganger, is difficult just because of the challenges involved in getting there with the sub weapon that you want. But the boss itself is not difficult if you get there with the sub weapon. I guess if I count doppelganger without the sub weapon you want, then that one is obviously much harder. Okay, but I'm basically out of the woods now. 7, 8, 9, 10 is like with 1 death is like okay, I can pretty much do this. So I'm not super worried. I pick up the holy water. I really when I really don't need to because the boss on level 7 is another like mummy cyclops jamboree, and lightning trivializes both of those bosses. So I really don't need the holy water. But I guess I think I need the holy water for the mummies, or maybe I want the holy water for the turrets coming up. I think that's probably it. Yeah. Yeah, because this level is very big on turrets and big on fucking throwing Igors at you, apparently. God damn. That really shouldn't have hit me. I think if I'd started swinging further forward towards the turret, I would have been okay, but whatever. Yeah, there's an Igor Gauntlet coming up that is also going to be another demonstrator of the power of lightning. Normally this part is pretty hard because an Igor is going to get dropped right at the top of the staircase, like where you are, before you can possibly get there. So it's not like the other Igor Gauntlets where you can just hit them as they fall down. Here you've got to contend with them like as soon as you come up, but lightning fucking trivializes it. Except they almost get me anyway. And the reason I'm swinging my cane or my lightsaber or whatever the fuck at the end there is because sometimes harpies and Igors will spawn right out of that fucking right wall there. Like, it's ridiculous, but it's happened. Here I'm just playing super safe. I could easily kill these turrets with Trevor and the whip, but I just don't. If I have an opportunity to just safely spam lightning at something, I'll pretty much always take it. For example, yeah, here's how Trevor would kill a turret. Here, I actually could be doing this more safely with Sypha's lightning by standing on the ledge and letting that thing shoot, but I think I'm worried about my heart amount, which is like this happens a lot to me where I worry basically too much about my heart count, where I worry like about running out of hearts when it's really not going to be a problem. Like I can't remember the last time I did something and ended a level with like 5 hearts. Like I had barely enough. I always end levels with like 15 hearts, like 12 hearts. And there I missed 5 hearts because I killed the torch and then the big heart disappeared before I could get to it. So go figure. Actually, I'm not quite out of the woods yet because of this part. This part is really, I don't know, maybe it's easy for people who love platformers and who are really good at them, but it's really hard for me. This jump is hard, but this jump doesn't kill you if you fuck it up. The next jump, however, not this jump, but there's a jump coming up at the very end of the stage that if you fuck it up, you fall in. And I hate this. Okay, I get it, but like the timing on that jump is so tight. It's so tight. If you are 1 fucking microsecond late with the jump, you walk off the edge. And if you're 1 microsecond too early, you fall short. And I hate that. It's the timing is so specific that it feels like it's something that's not under my control. It doesn't feel like something I plan out. It feels like a fucking coin toss. And it's a fucking coin toss 30 minutes into the run. So that's I hate that part. But I put up with it because I think of it as basically something that Grant makes a lot easier. Because Grant can jump higher and can jump farther. Uh, Not really much to say here. I just want to survive. I'm actually doing this very badly. You can extend the time you spend on those platforms by jumping a lot, but there I risk disaster by letting the last 2 platforms almost collapse. And here, I hope I don't farm extra hearts here because it's really not necessary. Okay, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, this is a perfect example of a boss fight that's either impossible or trivialized based off of the sub-weapons you have. Like, if I didn't have the holy water or if I didn't have lightning on Sypha, I would actually be really worried. Because trying to fight these mummies in this terrain with just the whip is actually super difficult. But here, it's just easy. And I could be doing this way faster with the lightning. I guess I didn't realize at the time how powerful lightning was, because if I had lightning out, these guys would be dead, again, like 8 seconds ago. Mm. But I do remember to use lightning here when the Cyclops comes out. Yeah, this is the correct execution of the Cyclops fight. And it's very interesting how slight changes in terrain make all 3 Cyclops fights play differently. I really like that. It shows a degree of thoughtfulness to how they've made this video game. This boss is weird. It's very difficult for me to fight this to kill this boss without taking at least 1 damage, which is not what I want. If I'm fighting a boss, I want to be able to fight that fucker without taking any damage 100% of the time. The problem is right here, where he shoots these fireballs coming out in a second. I I don't know. I just have such a hard time dodging them. I'm not really trying to dodge them because I don't really need to dodge them because I have so much health, but I feel like I wish I knew how to dodge those better because I always worry that it's going to be relevant at some point. But whatever. I got through the earlier level with enough health that it didn't matter. And now we're coming into the home stretch. Level 8 is kind of like level 5 in Castlevania 1, where I think it's a pretty severe downturn in difficulty, but on hard mode, this part is actually tricky because the ghosts are wearing bathrobes, and now that the zombies are wearing bathrobes, and wearing a bathrobe means that they take one more swing to kill. So you have these like fast-moving, durable enemies coming at you, and bats at the same time. What you're supposed to do is what I just did there, which is just jump over them. The timing is pretty tight, but I think that's the intended way of getting through that particular gauntlet. Because otherwise, you're basically guaranteed to take 1 damage. And as you can see here, there is a sweet spot on the stairs to fight these armor knights. If you stand at exactly that height and whip them, the upper axes will miss you, and you can intercept the lower axes. All for naught, unfortunately. Whatever. I don't want to take damage in this level because there is meat between me and the Grim Reaper, but I want to go into the Grim Reaper with as much health as possible because the Grim Reaper in this game is kind of like the Grim Reaper in Castlevania 1, where there is a cheese, but it's not as definitive. Like cheesing the Grim Reaper in this game doesn't prevent his scythes from spawning, which you'll see when we get there. This room is actually pretty tricky because the little green guys are actually really hard to kill. They have kind of a fucked up way of moving where they're like out of upper whip range and then they'll jump over your lower whip range. It's hard to describe. There it doesn't matter because I have lightning and lightning just fucking kills everything. But I have taken damage from those things that's actually ended up killing runs. Yeah, my main goal here is pretty much just to get through this part without taking too much damage. I also want to hold on to lightning for level 9, so I'm going to be careful not to spend too much time as FCEUX. I don't want Syfa to accidentally pick up a different spell book. Actually, that's not that important here because there's another lightning tome right before the Grim Reaper fight, but whatever. That's what I'm thinking about at this point. I'm here in level 8, but I'm thinking about level 9. I know this for a fact. Uh, Not too much to say here. Uh, you can just safely jump up here to deal with this guy. Getting height advantage on those guys is really good. Kill the little green blob. And now I'm going into the Grim Reaper with all the hearts I could ask for and the triple shot multiplier, which is the really important thing. And here is a perfect example of excessive heart farming. I will not use 29 hearts on the Grim Reaper fight. There's no universe where I will use 30 hearts on the Grim Reaper fight. But I do it anyway. What I think I was saying earlier is that level 8 is not super difficult. It's kind of like level 5 in Castlevania 1, where it's kind of a downturn in the difficulty spike, depending on your ability to deal with the Grim Reaper boss again. And here, I think I get it pretty much perfectly, where you stand up here. Yes, there's a moment here where he's going to intercept the floor, and that's when I want to start throwing holy water at him. I want to throw holy water on the floor when he gets there, when his model intersects the floor. That's when I want the fire to be there. And here with this guy, it's the same thing. Just throw fire when he's about to get to the floor, and you can just stun lock him, and he just dies. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But my reward for that, my reward for executing that flawless Grim Reaper fight is level 9. And level 9 is where dreams go to die. I'm sorry to say. It's difficult to describe what makes level 9 difficult. It's not 9-1. It's more so 9-2 and then 9-4. And we're coming up on a moment shortly that's pivotal to this run. It is a moment that changes this sequence of events from a pretty good 1cc with only 1 death in the first 35 minutes of playing, an embarrassing preventable death, but only 1 death, into something that is barely recognizable as the work of a sapient human. And it's made all the worse by the level of preparation that goes into what is supposed to follow it, but which ultimately does not. Um, Let me just explain what I'm trying to do here. So what I want to do is I want to farm a bunch of hearts, so that way I can have Syfa kill all the turrets in 9-2, because 9-2 is kind of like 5-3, where there's a bunch of turrets and stairs, except there's also gargoyles coming at you. So I want to get as many hearts as I possibly can to clear it, to make sure that I can clear that zone. And that's not the problem. There's nothing wrong with this. This is perfectly fine. This is the smart thing to do. If you have Sypha, if you have something that's Sypha, if you have a way for Sypha to trivialize something, that's what you should do. Um, that's what she's there for. That's what lightning is there for. The moment is here. So what went wrong there is that I didn't understand this at the time, but Sypha is slightly taller than Trevor. And I had become accustomed to jumping this gap on a certain timing with Trevor that if you do with Sypha causes her to bonk her forehead on the side of the spikes and kill her. So now I'm going into 9-2 without lightning. And lightning to get through 9-2 is like one of the chief reasons to bring Sypha is like why Sypha is good. It's like one of the top 5 reasons why Sypha is good and why lightning is good is to get through this room. And now I don't have it because of that single mistake. And I'm also not going to have it for the first part of 9-4, which is also really difficult and very much made easier by going in with lightning. And here I'm mentally reeling, which is probably why I took damage from that turret previously. But, I'll give myself credit. This is not that bad. Like, taking 2 damage. Okay, never mind. This is bad. This is really bad. Yeah, I'm completely out of it. I thought I was going to get out there with only taking 2 damage, but going into 9-3 with 1 health is really bad because there is technically a meat at the end of 9-3 before 9-4, but getting it on hard mode is basically a tremendous risk. So optimally, you would get all the way through level 9 without ever taking any damage, and that's the kind of thing that you would need like a lightning or a stopwatch cheese in 9-2 in order to consistently achieve. Um, yeah, I'm being super cautious with this guy because I don't want to die. I've decided that I'm going to try to get the meat um, at the end of 9-3. And let's see how it works out for me. So I got through this part just fine. I also kind of want the holy water. Well, under normal circumstances, I'd want the holy water over on the. Oh, great! Look at that. Yeah, see, that was inevitable. That was inevitable. As soon as I got in here with 1 health, if all I'm thinking about is just don't fuck up, I'm just not. I'm not focused properly. I'm not. My head's not in it. So the fact that the saving grace of this level is that lightning is available halfway through 9-4. And if I'm going to go into the doppelganger fight, I want one of 2 things. I want either holy water or lightning. Under normal circumstances, if I hadn't died, what is happening here? What is this fucking game of musical chairs? Why won't this fucker just move? Okay, I get impatient and I eventually just walk up and kill him. Or he hits me. I hate that. See, if I had lightning, he'd just be dead. That's why that 9-2 death is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. It is a stain on the recorded history of my entire life. But I uploaded it. I mean, I got the 1cc. I got what I wanted. And you know what? I think it's an important lesson. I think it's a lesson that if you watch somebody's gameplay through the lens of YouTube, through the lens of editing, through the lens of, oh, they just pick their best run and show it to you, it's very easy to think that everything is sunshine and rainbows and that these people are gods at this game and they can do no wrong. But the cold, hard reality is that life will just fuck you. Or to put it more accurately, human error is inevitable. And things like that just fucking happen sometimes. And that's, I guess, what I'm hoping to impart by the decision to include that and to upload this run instead of trying again for a better one. And here I make a terrible mistake. I try to go for the meat because I'm greedy and I get punished for it. I don't even know what hit me. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know what hit me there. I don't know if it was the bat's tail or if it was the ghost's aura. I think last time I watched the footage, I concluded that it was the ghost, but I honestly don't know. It doesn't look like anything hit me. Okay, well, that hit me. This is so bad. This is so bad. Like, I'm playing, this is the worst 9-3 I've ever played in my entire life, and it's because I'm mentally still not recovered from that death in 9-2. Because getting to 9-2 with lightning is like the dream. Like, uh, getting to 9-4 with lightning is the dream, but getting to 9-2 with lightning is like perfect. It's like you can skip one of the hardest parts of the whole game, and then I just throw it all away on one fucked up jump. And that starts I have a whole complex about the 9-2 jump now. I can't do it. I will never be able to do that normally ever again. I have to tell myself now. Whenever I get to that point, I have to literally say to myself, "Wait, wait, don't jump." Man, that fucking death gave me a complex, man. I'm fucking traumatized. Level 9 is a traumatic level, honestly. Ah. So here, I've taken one damage again, completely preventable, but I'm not going to go for the meat. That death earlier is why you shouldn't go for the meat on hard mode, because on normal mode is just a bat, and the bat will either be near it or not near it, whatever. On hard mode, there's a ghost that spawns in a spot that's basically specifically designed to fuck you over if you try to get the meat. If I had lightning, I could just shoot lightning at it and kill it and then go get the meat, but I don't have lightning because I jumped into the fucking spikes like an idiot. So that's why that was so affected me so strongly, was because I was thinking of all of the cascading consequences of going into this part of the game without lightning. This guy fucking hit me. Jesus Christ. I try so hard, man. I try so hard with these birds, and they just don't cooperate ever. The 9-4 birds, the 9-4 gauntlet here is one of the hardest parts of the entire game because you're basically doing 6B twice. Uh, Now with more birds. Now with birds in awkward ass positions that you can't fucking get to. And I'm not talking about that bird. That bird's basically fine. I'm talking about this bird. What is like okay, that I mean that's that oh look, that's so bad. I see my mind is still not there. I still have not recovered. That's what I'm gonna blame that on. And also trying to kill that bird is like what's it like? It's like trying to like play fucking darts, trying to hit that bird. And where does this guy just go off screen? Did that bird just vanish? Okay, the bird vanished. I guess the game gave me a break, finally. And that bird also vanished. The game gave me a double break. See, why can't they just do that every time? Oh, here I'm certain I'm going to die. This is an RNG skull gauntlet, and I have 1 HP. But thank God for lightning, and thank God that they were nice to me, basically, and didn't fuck me over. This is funny. Normally, you can cheese the doppelganger fight with holy water, but you can also cheese it with lightning. Because the I don't know what exactly is going wrong here. I guess it's basically just confused about height. I've seen the doppelganger get confused about all sorts of altitude differences. Look at that, I'm so happy. I can't believe I got through that. I think as soon as I got to the skull gauntlet with 1 HP, I thought for sure I was gonna die. Like there's no way I get through the fucking skulls without taking any damage. And the doppelganger fight went smoothly. So this is Salvage City, pretty much. That's what this whole run is after the 9-2 death. It's me desperately trying to pack together the last shreds of my dignity and my composure and my ability to play a video game into something that is halfway acceptable. I would say halfway. Shooting lightning here is actually really useful because not only is lightning actually like pretty good at killing the skulls, it also causes the game to slow down, which gives you time to like analyze the patterns of the skull's movement and gives you time to plan out um, what you're gonna do. Switching there to get the stopwatch was the right call, but the problem was I don't know if you noticed, it made a lightning projectile that was about to hit a skull disappear. It didn't end up mattering because the skull didn't hit me, but like whether a skull hits you or not is not really under your control. Like it is, but it isn't. Like there, I really don't know what I could have done differently there because they kept on like bobbing and bobbing in the same like head height. Like the skulls are like such a problem. If those skulls weren't in this game, it would be like perfect. But the fact that there's anything at all RNG related, getting down these stairs without taking damage is so fucking hard, dude. Because you can't shoot lightning at the bats and the turret at the same time. So you have to pray that the bat comes from the same direction. And here, I skip the one up? What am I thinking? There's a fucking one up in that candle, and I'm two deaths away from this being over, and I'm going into A2 with one health? Okay, that was a complete and total. God damn. This is the worst I've ever played. This is the worst Castlevania 3 I've ever played in my entire life. And look at this. Why do I switch back? I have lightning. I have lightning, and there's a spider right there, and instead I try to whip the fucking spider? I try to whip the projectile. I had lightning. I had one ammo left. God, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I thinking? I can't believe I pulled this off. This is I almost am like I'm almost changing my mind about uploading this as I watch this footage back. No, I still will, but like God, and I fucked this up too? Can I go like 2 seconds without like just stepping in shit? I guess not. God damn. This part is also super difficult because they amp up the bat spawns. Basically, twice as many bats spawn. And I switched to Syfa here, even though I would take more damage if I got hit for that reason. She has an instant attack that's like head height. If I run into a bat, I can just fucking hit it. This is so stressful. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? Oh my god. Oh my god. I cannot believe I just pulled that off. Okay, that redeems the entire run. That was so ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Holy fuck. Okay. Wow. Oh, okay. I almost picked up the dagger there by accident. You really want the axe for Dracula. You want the axe for the Dracula fight. Yeah, look at that. That's so funny. I switched to Sypho to farm hearts because I don't want to accidentally lose the axe again on Trevor by like blindly running into a dagger. That's so funny how paranoid I am. I pick up fire because Sypha can have fire for this. It doesn't matter. Um, I don't think I even use Sypha for this. Normally, if you go into this fight with lightning, Sypha with lightning fucking annihilates Dracula. But you want the axe if you don't have access to lightning. And here, I'm probably riding the high of getting through the fucking bat platforming, the bat forming. So I guess my morale's pretty high here. I wonder if I take damage. I hope I don't. Nope, I take damage. So I'm not quite done fucking up yet. Oh, look at that. That was ballsy. Yeah, if you hit him, if he's if he's like mid cast like that, the fire pillar doesn't, excuse me, doesn't spawn. This fight, oh yeah, and also you want to either I always kill Dracula at that same pattern when he's on his like third cycle, so that way he turns into this thing in the exact same spot every time. And the way this thing moves is dependent on where it spawns, basically where phase 2 starts. So here, killing Dracula in that spot, like near his throne, guarantees that this guy is not gonna like pin me up against a wall or like fuck me over. He's gonna do a nice civilized circuit through the boss room. And now I'm pretty much fine. The key here with Dracula Phase 3 is patience. Patience. You have 200 seconds. There's no reason to rush. Take your time, follow this exact pattern. Throw an axe, bait the laser, run out of the laser, wait. Do not jump if there's a platform above you. Do not jump on the fucking platforms ever because they will move you around and they will fuck up your rhythm and your mojo. And those lasers are so long and last for so long that dodging them in midair is almost impossible. So this, what I'm doing right here, like this might seem slow, this might be frustrating or something to watch. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. But this is the best way to do this fight. I've done this fight in other ways before, and I mean, I cannot tell you how much riskier it is. Especially considering how much I've fucked up already. The last thing I do want to do here is get cocky and fuck with something that works perfectly well. So this is just what I'm going to do. The idea, I think, is that you jump on the floating platforms to try to whip at his head, but fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck trying to jump at this guy with death pits under you while there are lasers coming out of him on platforms that move. That's like hell. The only way that could be more like Castlevania 3 branded hell is if they made you fight this guy on stairs. I have to say, I love this fight. This is my favorite boss fight, maybe in the whole game. See, look at that. See, I jump on the platform and it fucks me. That's why I don't do that. That's why I don't do that. That's why I stay on the fucking ground. I keep my feet on the ground like the dwarves in World of Warcraft always told me to do, and it fucking works out for me. Never jump in the fucking air onto one of those platforms. You have to jump to hit him with the axes, but never step on the platforms ever, 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 ever. I cannot believe this was a successful 1cc. I cannot believe it. This was the worst, hopefully, you will ever see me play. I hope I will never upload something this disgraceful ever again, but I want to show it to you guys to demonstrate that there is pain. There is hours and hours of pain behind every single glamorous, successful, attempted clear of this game. There are a million runs like this. Okay, not a million. There's a lot. There's many runs like this where I just make these ridiculous mistakes that I have no excuse for making. And I want that to be clear, I guess. Trevor made many sacrifices. I made many sacrifices. I sacrificed my fucking dignity. I sacrificed the pretense of myself being a good player by uploading this. Like, where's the sympathy for me? The translation here is so funny. On a different video, I think I'll read out the opening text crawl for level one because I love the way that this shit is translated. It's all translated like super literally. Like this is so weird. She's starting to feel more comfortable with herself. Motherfucker, you just killed a gigantic palace full of demons. Like, and you're concerned about how comfortable you feel with yourself? I don't know. I don't know what Japanese phrase that's a weird translation of, but that's why I love it. That's also one reason why I'm playing on the English version. The real reason I'm playing on the US version is just because this was the first ROM that I got. But um, I understand that the Japanese version has slightly different, like it sounds different. There's some special sound chip in the Japanese version of this game that was only supposed to work with like Japanese hardware or something. I don't know. I think I have that right. Um, so the US version sounds worse, but I think the US version is harder. I don't remember what it is. But there's something about the US version that makes it more difficult, and I think it has to do with the Dracula fight. Like if you run out of lives, you have to go back to A1. I'm happy with that because going back to A1 and then A2 on the Dracula fight guarantees you go in there with the axe, and you don't get stuck having to try to do the fight with the fucking whip, which I can't imagine anything worse than that. Anyway, there it is. It's a 1cc. Technically, 5 fucking deaths. Horribly, horribly embarrassing. Next up, I'll be doing something pretty neat. It's a Syfa only run. I basically try to clear the game only using Syfa, and I'm also going to be using the help me code and the 3 live rule for that. But that's what's coming up next. It's going to be pretty neat. Keep your eyes peeled. Hope you guys enjoyed.